Welcome in to DRF Daily, DRF Sports' brand new sports betting show, every day live streaming on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Thank you all for tuning in to our very first edition. We use all of our data over at DRF Sports Pro, and we're going to be trying to hand out some winners day in and day out every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Hopefully, we can end each week positive in our bankroll. If not, I blame the data. For every winning pick, I will give all the credit to myself. Every losing pick, that's the data's fault. That's how we're gonna handle it here on DRF Sports Daily. And thank you guys again for tuning in. We're breaking down 4 games today, 3 MLB, and of course, Game 5 of the NBA Finals between the Celtics and the Warriors. We'll break down Pirates, Cardinals, Padres, Cubs, and Marlins, Phillies. I'm really excited about the Marlins Phillies breakdown in a little bit because Sandy Alcantara will be starting for the Marlins, and he's one of my favorite pitchers in the MLB to bet on. Starting things off, it's going to be Pirates, Cardinals. Cardinals minus 175 on the money line. Starting for tonight will be Mitch Keller for the Pirates, Zach Thompson for the Cardinals. It's going to be Zach Thompson's first ever start. I believe his second appearance as a rookie. He appeared in 4 innings a few games ago. He allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, and had 3 Ks in his 4 innings of work. Will be interesting to see how he performs in his first ever start. Mitch Keller, on the other hand, for the Pirates, has a 5.56 ERA. He's 1-5 this season. Granted, the Pirates are just 24-34, 10 games under 500. Not the best team in the league, as per usual. Pirates haven't been good in a while. I mean, he's pitched 43 innings roughly about this season. Last 3 games, his ERA's come down a bit. He's pitched 4.59 ERA with a 1-1 record. But when he pitches at night, his ERA balloons up to 8.06. And this is a 7:45 p.m. first pitch in St. Louis. So it is a night game, and that is not a good ERA for Mitch Keller and the Pirates as rookie Zach Thompson gets the start for the Cardinals on the other side. Cardinals, they're 31-20 straight up this season, or excuse me, over the last 2 seasons when they're facing a bad team. That's a 48% or worse win percentage. They are 31-20, so they really beat up on bad competition. And the Pirates, well, they're bad competition here again today. Pittsburgh also is 5-14 straight up in June road games over the last 2 seasons. Put that all together, and it's not looking good for the Pirates. The pick today, according to our Sims, according to myself, Cardinals win 6-3 in this one. Lean the over. The total, as you see on the bottom, total is set at 9. But maybe a run here or there, and that will hit the over. So I'm going to lean the over, but my for sure pick will be Cardinals minus 175 on the money line. You can check out all of this information on drf.com/sports, and you can get all of our latest data, betting insights, trends, angles, simulation picks, everything like that. It gives you who the edge is on, if it's on the over, if it's on the under. It'll give you their own power line and see how that aligns with the odds makers. So you can check that out at drf.com/sports. And at the end of this, we'll be breaking down our featured free game of the day. That is going to be the Warriors-Celtics game. And if you go to our website and make a free account, you can get all of the latest data for that game for free. Each day, we have a new featured free game of the day. For today, it's Game 5. Wednesday, it's going to be Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Not sure what tomorrow's free game of the day will be. Probably something MLB because it's a little bit of a doldrum day. But with that housekeeping stuff out of the way, we're going to keep it moving. Padres, Cubs. Cubs at home at Wrigley, plus 120 on the money line, and the total is set at 8.5. Yu Darvish gets the start for the Padres. Justin Steele is slated to get the start for the Cubs. 8:05 first pitch. Let's break down the pitching matchup because that's really the key in this one. 3.61 ERA for Yu Darvish with a 5-3 record. Over his last 3, though, he's kind of come on strong with a 2.95 ERA. And at night, I really like these splits. You can find all of these splits at drf.com/sports. Go into the matchup you want, click pitcher statistics, and you'll find breakdowns of last 3, how they play on grass, how they play on turf, how they play against division opponents, how they play against at night during the day, all the breakdowns you need. And so, of course, I'll keep breaking down at night. 4.35 ERA, but 3-1 at night. Justin Steele, on the other hand, 4.79 ERA. He's 1-5 this season. Over the last three, not doing great. He is 7.07 ERA, and at night, a 4.85 ERA. So all things considered, his ERA is not as good as his 4.79, which isn't even fantastic. All things considered, his ERA is actually a little bit worse as of late and at night. But both teams have a winning record at night. San Diego 20-17 in night games. The Cubs 20-18 in night games, which is kind of interesting considering the Cubs are 23-36 to have a winning record at night. Padres, though, come into this one hot, 4-2 over their last six, where the Cubs come into this one not as hot. They've lost 7 of their last 8. Pulling up some stats on this game to share with you guys here. Boom, you can see everything over at drf.com/sports. The Sims really like San Diego in this one. The money line set at -125. Our power line thinks the line should be more around -178. So you're getting some good value on the Padres here on the road in Wrigley. Darvish also getting the start. Like I said, he averages less than 1 home run allowed per game. And the Cubs are 0-10 straight up in home games against pitchers who don't allow a lot of home runs per start. So everything's really making you think. Padres, our Sims like him to win 5-4. I like that too. And because of 5-4, I'm leaning the over, but the for sure pick. I know it's boring. We're starting back-to-back games, back-to-back favorites, but the Padres at 37-24, they come in red hot. Cubs are slumping. Give me the Padres all day at -125. Moving from that game into Marlins Phillies. This game is the one I'm really excited for. Sandy Alcantara gets the start for the Marlins. He is fantastic. He's taken on Aaron Nola, one of the best strikeout pitchers in Major League Baseball. He's 4th in the MLB in strikeouts this season, where Sandy Alcantara has a 1.61 ERA. Really want to blow your mind here. Over the last 3 starts for Alcantara, he's a .37 ERA. On the season, Sandy is 6-2. Aaron Nola, on the other hand, he is 3.5 ERA and 4-4 on the season. At night, though, his ERA comes down just a hair. He has a 3.09 ERA when he's pitching at night. This is slated for a 7.05 first pitch from Philly. Marlins come into this one 27-31. Phillies 30-30 since they fired Joe Girardi. And I know this is the talking point everyone's talking about, but it's worth mentioning. The Phillies have gone 8-1 straight up since firing their head manager, Joe Girardi, and one of the hottest teams in baseball. But if you look on the other side, Marlins, not too shabby. Since June 7th, they're 5-1 straight up as well. And they're doing that really without getting a lot of guys on base. Over their last 3 games, they've had an on-base percentage of 260 or lower. And when that happens, they're 9-0 straight up coming on into that 4th game. So if you follow me, that was a little convoluted, but after a 3-game span of an on-base percentage of 260 or lower, the Marlins are 9-0 straight up in that 4th game. So maybe I'll lean the Marlins. And by that, I mean, I'm going 100% with the Marlins, mainly because they're plus 120, so they're plus money. They're the dogs in this game, as I'm trying to find the game capsule for this breakdown. Bear with me for 1 second. And look at this. They're the dogs tonight, plus 120. Our power line thinks they're the favorites at -124. They get the certified gold star pick. So give me Marlins plus 120. I'm going to lean the over for the same reason I leaned the over in the Cardinals game. Our simulators think it's a 4-4 roughly game. And at 8 runs against 2 really good pitchers, Aaron Nola you might be able to get a couple earned runs on him. He's given up 8 earned runs in his last 4 starts. And he struck out 27, though. So a boomer bust type of pitcher. Give me the Marlins, though, at plus 120. My favorite play of the night. Also, I should say, I don't fade Sandy Alcantara. He's burned me way too many times in the past. Over the last 2 seasons, I almost always would bet the Yankees, whoever was going against him, and it just always seemed to fall on when Sandy Alcantara was pitching, and I always lost the bet. So now this season, my mantra has been to ride the Sandy wave, and so far it's paid off for me. And then double that with the fact that this is actually one of the best bets of the day, according to our simulations. Putting 2-3 units down on the Marlins at plus 120. I think it's fantastic value. And if they lose, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. The reasoning's there in my mind. And also, you always got to ride the Sandy wave. And that's all of our MLB action. And then to finish things up, we're going to break down this Game 5 game because it is a fantastic game between the Celtics and Warriors, and it's been a fantastic series to this point. Back and forth, back and forth. No one's won back-to-back games. 9 p.m. tip in San Francisco, so 6 p.m. local tip. And it's our featured free game of the day. Get all of the latest news, betting insights, trends, and data for free with this game. Just head over to drf.com/sports. That's drf.com/sports. Make a free account, and you can check out all of this free data for this game. Like I said, series is tied at 2 apiece. Both teams 1-1 at home. Boston won game 1, Warriors won game 2. Boston won game 3, Warriors won game 4. Just a complete back and forth series. We've seen some amazing performances by Al Horford and, of course, Steph Curry back in game 4. Warriors are coming off of a 10-point, 107-97 victory back at TD Garden. And now we're headed to the Chase Center in San Francisco. We're going to break down some quick betting angles that favor the Celtics and one betting angle that favors the Warriors. Celtics Ime Udoka, 17-2 against the spread in his career in road games against teams with a winning record. And the Celtics currently are +4. They were +3.5 just a few hours ago. They've moved to +4. So some money coming in on the Warriors at -3.5. Money must think they win. I don't want to spoil the pick too early, but I don't know if I fully agree with that. Celtics are also 10-2 against the spread this season, coming off of a loss by 10 points or more. And like I said, coming off of a 10-point loss. Quick stat favoring the Warriors. There's only one. They're 7-2 in home games this season. The last 2 seasons against teams that outscore their opponents by 6+ points. So against good teams, they're pretty good. So both of these teams play really good basketball, and that comes to no surprise to anyone. A couple keys to the game, in my opinion. We'll see how it goes. But Jason Tatum, he's got to do either be a complete playmaker or more of a scorer. He's coming off of a 35% shooting night where he dropped 23 points in 43 minutes. But the real negative key is that he had 6 turnovers, and that's just not great in a close game. He's not eclipsed the 30-point mark since the Miami Heat Eastern Conference Finals series on May 23rd. A bunch of high 20-point performances, but nothing insane. He hasn't really taken the game over. I mean, you could argue he took game 1 over, but that was through his playmaking and his assist abilities, and he just hasn't been able to replicate that since. And he needs to kind of have a big time game. Maybe if he's the superstar, he needs to have a superstar performance similar to that of what Steph did in game 4. And the second key to the game, outside of Jason Tatum needing to kind of take a bigger role in the scoring and the playmaking even more than he is a role player needs to step up for Boston. And I know that's so like, duh, of course a role player needs to step up. But Al Horford dropped 26 in game 1 and they win the game. He dropped 11 in game 3 and they win the game. Al Horford, when he scores double digits, the Celtics are 2-0. And so clearly all that means is you give Al Horford the ball, get him to 10 points in the first quarter, and they're going to win the game. Of course, I'm joking, but Al Horford or someone needs to do something. And I don't mean to pick on Horford because he had that fantastic game 1. He had 26 in that game. Since then, though, he's combined for just 21 points. So we got to see, is it Derek White? Is it Grant Williams? Someone needs to step up. We know Jaylen Brown is going to get his. He's going to get his 20+ points. He's going to look fantastic. And Jason Tatum's going to do what he does. We need a little bit more out of Jason Tatum, and we need some sort of third threat for the Celtics to step up and have a chance to win this game. And now we're going to move over to the Warriors. The Warriors need a big game or continued goodness out of Klay Thompson. He had game 1 and game 2 where he just didn't look like Klay Thompson at all. Then he came up in game 3 and Warriors couldn't win the vintage Klay game. But then he had 18 in game 4. So something kind of just like that where he's a good second option. He can take some of the load off of Steph. He has to continue to play well and hopefully hold the ship until we get to game 6 where we can see game 6 Klay where he's going to drop 45 on 4 shots. Somehow, some way he'll do it. From Klay, Steph, this is more of a player props pick. His point total set at 31.5, and he's eclipsed that just twice this series. So 50% of the time he's going over 31. I think that number's a little bit inflated after his 43-point game 4 performance. So I'm leaning the under on Steph. But for the Warriors to continue to win and have a shot at winning this series, Steph needs to continue playing great and get those high 20s, 30-point marks. So I think the Celtics will key in on him. Head coach Ime Udoka has been really good at, adjustments and game planning from game to game. And I think that's why we see such these ebb and flows throughout this series. So I expect Steph Curry probably to have like 28, 29 and come really close to that 31.5 mark. But I'm going to bet the under on Steph Curry points. But he does need to continue to be great for the Warriors to have a chance in this series. And last, but certainly not least, Draymond. Come on, man. What's the joke everyone's saying? He's recorded more podcasts than field goals made. He's sitting at 6-26 this series with 17 combined points. He's probably recorded 5 podcasts now, so that joke might not add up anymore, but it did for a while. They were talking on Get Up this morning on ESPN. Does he get benched in the fourth quarter? What's happening? He's only eclipsed double-digit rebounds once this series, hasn't reached more than 8 assists, and we know he's not a point scorer, but he impacts the game in other ways, whether that is rebounding, whether that is assists. He just hasn't done any of that this series. So, I mean, what's the solution? That's me asking you guys. I don't know what the solution is. Is it benching him? We'll see what happens with Draymond. But he needs to step up his game for the Warriors to have a shot at winning this game and winning this series. If you can't tell, I'm kind of leaning Boston to win the series. I think Boston wins it in 7. I think they continue this ebb and flow, this win, now you win, now we win, now you win type of thing. I think Boston wins game 5. I think Warriors win game 6. And I think we head back to San Francisco and the Chase Center for game 7 where Boston wins it. But that's really intense, really in the weeds. My pick for tonight is Boston +4. I'd even bet Boston money line at +155. And if you look, that's a certified gold star pick. And that's without even looking at the Sims. That's just where my head and my heart is leaning. More so my head, because you don't necessarily always want to bet with your heart. But Boston has the edge tonight. They think this is more of a pick'em game. So if you're getting 4 points on the Celtics, I'm hammering that. I'm also maybe leaning the over just a little bit. I'm not betting it. I'm just going to share that our Sims lean it a bit. My big time bet is Boston +4, Boston money line, and Boston to win this series in 7. I think you can get better odds now, tonight, for Boston to win this series than you will tomorrow morning, because I believe Boston wins this game. And if they take a 3-2 series lead, their odds are going to be pretty good to win. So that's the breakdown for today, June 13th. Thank you guys for tuning in to DRF Sports Daily. It's DRF Sports' daily live stream on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. We just started a Twitch. So if you're watching here on Twitter, head on over, or YouTube, head on over to Twitch and follow us there. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're on Twitter at DRF_sports. We're on Instagram at DRF Sports, no underscore. And on YouTube, just search DRF Sports and we'll pop up. So thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we just handed out 4 winners. Maybe we'll parlay all of these into it. We have 2 dogs, 2 favorites. I'm feeling good about all of these. Until tomorrow, 11 a.m., set your alarms now. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you for tuning in to DRF Sports Daily.